Let's start with a little story about the problem that the Byzantine generals faced, the Byzantine Generals Problem. If you are wondering whether some generals face problems with their tasks related to mining, calm down, I will explain everything. In fact, the Byzantine Generals Problem is one of the main problems found in cryptology, actually. This problem demonstrates the whole essence of crypto mining perfectly. So, imagine that you lead the Byzantine army. It's divided into 3 cohorts and each is controlled by a general. To defeat the enemy, all cohorts must work together. Now, let's make it even harder. Let's say one or more generals are traitors. They will wreak havoc on a chain of command and will not let you win the battle. You'll lose. So in order for the army to issue necessary commands, you need an algorithm. And this algorithm must solve 2 problems. First, traitors must not transmit false commands, and generals must execute correct orders quickly and efficiently. This algorithm describes the proof of work principle, which is used in blockchains such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, and many more. For the first time in cryptocurrency history, this algorithm was used by Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. In this way, he solved the problem of intermediaries in transactions, shifting this function to the system itself, not the individual, since neither the bank nor the state provided 100% guarantees of fund saving. At the same time, they also increased commissions for fund transactions, and at the time it takes for their execution, it takes longer. So, if we return to our generals, these are the nodes of the system, or as we call them, miners. Their main task is to solve complex mathematical algorithms, for which they receive a reward in the form of coins. The miners collect and process transactions to organize them into blocks. For each new block, he receives a reward. For example, on the Bitcoin network, a new block is mined in 10 minutes on average. The reward for this block is about 6.25 coins. To understand how miner works, let's carry out a little experiment. In this envelope, there is a piece of paper on which I have written a number between 1 and 100. Now, you must guess it. Quickly pause the video and write your answer in the comment section below. So let's check whether your intuition was correct. And the number in the envelope is 21. Some of you guessed this correctly, some did not. Mining is even easier. No need to guess the exact number. Your task is to be the first to name a number that will be less than or equal to the number in the envelope. Suppose a miner, Alice, was first to hold the answer up, and the number was 12. And a second miner, Bob, called the number 20, which is a lot closer, but did this a few seconds later. Although Bob's answer was closer to what I had, 21, Alice will receive the reward since she was first. Both provided an answer at the exact same time. The network itself determines who gets the reward, and often the reward goes to the miner who has verified more transactions. Imagine that you are a miner among hundreds of thousands of others, and the intended number is a 64-digit hexadecimal. It looks something like this. Ugh. This number is called the target hash. Miners buy a huge number of fan-assisted video cards, or GPUs, just to find this number. And this is done by the brute force method, generating as many random numbers as possible. Here's an example of a winning block on the Bitcoin network. We've already determined that coins are received by the miner who is first to find a hash that is less than or equal to the target hash. To be a winner, you need to overtake other miners on the network. Whether you end up first at the finish line depends only on how high the processing power of your computer is. In simple terms, the better your hardware, the more likely you are to be the first to find the target hash. This is how the first mining pools were actually created. Miners began to combine their power of the computers in order to increase their chances of finding the target hash first. The scheme works like this. Each member of the pool receives a proportional amount of the remuneration in accordance with their contribution to the pool. Well, we left the most interesting aspect for last. Is it possible to make money on crypto mining? Thousands live off the money they make from mining, but if you think that you will start making millions today or tomorrow, you need to stop Googling how to mine Bitcoin for beginners. As I said previously, the main condition for achieving success for a miner is the hardware. That's it. The better it is, the more money you're going to make. In addition to hardware, you also need to consider energy costs, the electricity. The higher the computing power of the computer, the higher the amount of electricity you're going to use, and therefore your electricity bill at the end of the month. And this, by the way, isn't a joke. This is why mining is often criticized for using a huge amount of electricity. It's good that today you don't have to count anything yourself. If you want to try mining but do not know if it'll earn you actually money at all, use one of the online mining profitability calculators. The program will take into account all of the factors for you and will calculate the remuneration for a new unit, the cost of electricity and equipment, everything. At the end of our lesson, let's go through the main features of crypto mining once again. Mining is based on a solution of the Byzantine Generals Problem. The first practical implementation of solving the Byzantine Generals Problem is Bitcoin's proof of work algorithm. Miners are nodes in the crypto ecosystem, and each miner collects and processes transactions to organize them into blocks and are rewarded for doing so. The more computing power a miner has, the more likely they are to receive a reward. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next lesson where we're going to do a deep dive into the world of cryptocurrencies even further. If you enjoyed this, please consider clicking the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the content.